I haven't been to the dentist in a couple of years. I'm afraid it will hurt and I'll leave in tears. I haven't driven my car in the city downtown. I'm afraid I'll get lost, my head will spin round. My mind will go blank, won't know who I am. That's my anxiety holding my hand. That's my anxiety holding my hand. I haven't left the house in a couple of years. They have a name for that, but I call it fear. I haven't flown on a plane to a far distant land. I'm afraid it will crash on the ocean's white sand. My mind will go blank, won't know who I am. That's my anxiety holding my hand. That's my anxiety holding my hand. You think I'm crazy, but I'm doing fine. I live alone in the land of my mind. And it hurts in here, but I've still got time. That's my anxiety telling me lies. That's my anxiety killing my highs. That's my anxiety making me cry. I haven't been to the ocean since I was a child, sheltered and kept away from the things that were wild. I haven't conquered my fear of the lights going out. My heart palpitates in my chest, that's the beat of my doubt. My mind will go blank, won't know who I am. That's my anxiety holding my hand. That's my anxiety, my only friend. You think I'm crazy, but I'm doing fine. I live alone in the land of my mind. And it hurts in here, but I've still got time. That's my anxiety telling me lies. That's my anxiety killing my highs. That's my anxiety making me cry.
Welcome to Corner Talking with Keith Eastwood on Talking the Corner. We are going back to an interview I done. What was it? How many years ago was it, Cordy?
I think it might have been 3 years ago.
3 years ago, Janie Mac. But yeah, we're going back and we're revisiting Cordy because the last time I talked to Cordy, I don't think you had two songs released, maybe.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
That's right.
I don't think you've been doing much with the music since then, have you?
No, nothing has been happening at all. It's been
Nothing. I
totally
think you hung.
boring.
Yeah, you hung up the banjo. Yeah.
I
And so
just
why
figured,
did we even do this interview?
yeah, I just figured why keep going? So I quit. No.
Yeah. Right. I just want to recap on that interview, if you can remember some of that interview.
Yes, I
Basically,
can
we
because
just talked about. Go on. Sorry.
I just was so excited to be on that interview because it was really one of the first things that I had done. And yeah, I was just excited to be sharing the music that I had at the time and talking to you, of course. So it was great.
Ah, yeah, it was a great interview. But basically, on the thing, we got to know a bit about you. So we're gonna do a short summary
Okay.
of Corrie Lynn Green. So just really short, tell us who you are and where you come from.
So my name is Corrie Lynn Green, and I live in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia in the U.S. And I do sort of my own version of Appalachian folk music, Americana music, just kind of creating my own thing. I'm a banjo player. I grew up in a bluegrass family, and in the last 3 years have gotten really serious about doing music and putting some albums together. And I'm a songwriter. I'm really well known for songwriting, and yeah, so that's basically. I was at the beginning of that in my first interview with you.
Yeah. I think you only had the two songs up, which we were all craving for more. And
Yes.
thank God, in the past couple of years, we got a lot more than we could bargain for.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun watching you on that journey. But right, because there's a few people that'll probably tune in that don't know how you got into music or where it all
Yeah.
started. So could you just even recap where this all started?
Yeah, so it's kind of a crazy story. I mean, I've always been a writer, and I have written songs for a long time just for my own pleasure. And I ended up winning a raffle that allowed me to get a 4 hour free recording session in a studio. And I went in and did that and was super excited about that. And when I did that recording, the guy who was recording me in a really great studio in Virginia just really thought that I had something interesting going on and really encouraged me to kind of keep moving forward. I was able to get those songs and just put them up on YouTube and share them with my friends and family and other people who were involved in music. And this was all happening right around the time of the pandemic. So those were on YouTube. And then I just caught a very early, lucky, life changing break. Which was that one of those songs ended up being shared with a producer who is lives in Pennsylvania, and he's very well known and has worked with musicians for 40 years, and basically heard one of the songs and was just curious about what it was because it sounded so different. I have an unusual voice, an unusual style, and wanted to hear it again. And then the next day, even wanted to hear it again, which was really unusual for him. And at that point, he reached out to me and wanted to know if I wanted to maybe come up and record that song. Which of course I was like, yes, I want to record it. But later, as it was the pandemic, so people weren't going anywhere, I couldn't meet up with them right away. Lots of people were telling me, it sounds like a scam. I now know that there are tons of these music scams everywhere, and people don't just get a call out of the blue to come record something. But at the time, I was just such a dreamer, and I just thought, oh, yeah, of course, this is going to be so great. So at some point, I sort of had to confront him and say, is this a scam? Because I don't have any money. And he said it's not a scam, and yeah, just come up and let's see what we can do. And so eventually I was able to go up there, record that song. And while I was there, he said, do you have any other songs since we're here? And I said, well, as a matter of fact, I do. And so I have quite a lot of songs at that time. Really felt like I was at the beginning of even being a banjo player, and definitely at the beginning of being a singer. I'd never sung into a microphone before, anything like that. So it was a real leap of faith, and I met some like session musicians while I was up there, which was really scary, and and recorded some stuff. And I think he was just seeing if I had what it took to like maybe move forward or get better, or and I guess it was enough. And so at that point, I started recording with him, which was sort of life changing after that.
Yeah. It's going to bring me on to a little topic I have here as well, because you were saying that for that producer to listen to the song a second or a third time, which was very sad. We're going to come on to that now in a second. But you are right about the scam artists, because
Yeah.
I come across those scam artists so much, especially. And you know, the worst thing is, like me, obviously going searching for new music. All these
Yes.
musicians think that I'm this big man, like, that I'm gonna be like, because I'm looking for people to send their music into me. They're like, oh, we hear that loads of times all over the place,
Yeah.
and it does be a pain. Like, if you're a scam artist, I'm sorry, but you're going after the wrong kind of people.
You're,
Musicians
yeah.
have no money.
Yeah, and musicians have no money, and even if they're having success, really don't make a lot of money. But the problem is, I think where they get you is, and this is more common than not in the U.S. anyway, is that you get some artist from, or some producer, or some sound engineer from Nashville, and they'll see that you're online trying to put your stuff out there, and they'll say, hey, we really think you've got something here, you should fly out here and you should record it, and it'll be great. But what they're not telling you is that you'll pay to go there, you'll pay them to record it, you'll pay for everything, and then you might not even have rights or access to the material, and they can take it and use it somewhere else. And so it gets really muddy, and it is really sad because people are dreaming so big.
Yeah, yeah, especially in the music game,
Yep.
like.
Yep.
But Nashville, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I know there's going to be a few people that are going to slate me for this, but I'm in Ireland, so I can get away with it a bit.
That's
But
right.
Nashville is, like, I hate it. I think, especially
Yeah.
with producers and all that are in Nashville, they are a poison to the music industry.
Yeah, I think it's really, I mean, it's complex because there are some amazing artists who I follow and love, and amazing writers who I follow and love, like Melody Walker, Lindsay Lou. I mean, I could name a million of them who live out there, and they need to live out there because you're meeting all these other amazing musicians. You've got all these studios around, and if you're having success, you guys can all get together and you can really create something that's incredible. But there's also just a lot of people that it's about, money, and they're going to take you for everything that you have, and you're just not going to end up having the success that you want. That may be true anywhere in music. I mean, the further I go, the more I'm like, okay, why am I doing this? What is it that I want? How can I get what I need from this? If it can't be money, or if it won't be like, some sort of ultimate success, why do I write? Why do I create? Who do I do it for? And I think if I can keep answering those questions for myself, I'll stay as far away from Nashville as possible, because I think it can just eat you up. And I
Mm.
also think that if you're an artist that has, anything to offer, anywhere that you are, you can, promote yourself, and you can find a music community, and you can travel. Like, I can go into Nashville and play, and then I can come back, and I
Yeah.
don't have to get stuck in that world, and in that rat race.
Even though I cry, I'm a bird on a wire. I'm a bird on a wire. I'm a bird on a wire. And I need a wire. I'm a bird on a wire. I'm a bird on a wire. I'm a bird on a wire. And I need a wire. I was a strange bird. I like my own company. I guess that's narcissistic, or a comic tragedy. You are a crow, sir. You are squawking heavily. I could feel your hot breath on my neck all week. You pushed me over, but I am still my mother's child.
really want to dive into this guy because you talk so highly about him. He
Yes.
seems like he's top of the range. Let us know about
Yes.
Doug.
Yes. So Doug Fern is his name. Fearn is how you spell his last name, and people can find him under DW Fern. He has been in the music industry as a sound engineer and producer, and instrument and equipment maker for a long, long time. He's known that he's wanted to be part of recording radio and music since he was 14. So he had a real vision for himself. And yeah, he's incredible. So he is an engineer, really brilliant. He was able to create his own sound recording equipment, which is one of the most highly coveted sound recording equipment companies in the US. And his stuff is just top of the line. He was never satisfied with sound that he would hear as he was working with different artists and working in the radio industry, and it would just sort of drive him crazy, and he thought, I know I can do this better, and he found a way to do that. And so you can look him up, and he's got an incredible YouTube channel where they go into all the nerdy equipment part of music recording. He's done a bunch of interviews with me on his podcast for music recording, but he's really incredible. And there are a bunch of things that make him incredible. The fact that he was really willing to roll the dice on an artist that he believes in. I mean, an artist who did not have any money and who did not have anything really, really any prospects or anything going for me except for these songs that I had written that I really believed in. A lot of patience because I really didn't know what I was doing, and some of it was kind of scary and intimidating because I'd go up and work with these people that had been in the industry, born to be in the industry, or meeting other artists that believed that they were born to be musicians, and that's just not how I came into music. I had a lot of self-doubt and I had a lot of fear, and I didn't really believe in my unusual sound or in my unusual voice. So he really had to start at the bottom and build me up from there. Um, and the other thing is that he doesn't have this sort of major music ego that so many people who have the kind of success that he's had can have in the music industry. And at this point, I've met many, and it can be really big personalities, and it can be, it takes a little bit of ego to believe that you're actually going to make it in this business, right?
Mm.
Because it's a lot of competition and it's a lot of great music out there, but he doesn't really have any of that. He's just super practical, and he's been super supportive, and he made it so that I could record an album, not just one album, but two albums, and now we're working on an amazing third. And
Nice.
the whole way he's been allowing me to grow, giving me a space to understand the recording process myself, allowing my voice to grow, my writing to grow, and just encouraging that along the whole way. And really someone who wants to see me succeed and wants to see me have something in the music industry that I can call work or that I can call, my own. And so it's so rare. I can't say enough good things about him. I hope that every person who does music has the opportunity to have that moment where someone really believes in you more than you believe in yourself, even because it can really help you dream and fly.
Yeah, and there's very few people like Doug in the music
Yes.
industry, and that's
Yes.
what's so incredible about that. Because, like, since our last interview, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, but there's such a lot more confidence in you, even just speaking to you now, and how confident you
Yes.
are about your music now. And obviously, that came from Doug putting, like, as you
Yes.
said, building you up. Like,
Yes,
that's super.
and not just building me up in recording, but flying out to see my shows. First of all, I've had an incredible amount of support. I again, if only everybody could feel this way. And I know in original music makers we have that amongst ourselves, but the thing is I had Doug coming to shows saying, you do a show and then you don't give the audience enough time to clap, and because you're just, so can you just like do that, or advice like that. But also in the town that I'm from, man, this town has shown up for me. And so I was doing this thing and didn't know what I was doing. And if anyone out there is listening and there's some small town music person that is trying to make their way or has, is really working hard at building something, go and see their show. I mean, it's like one night of your life, and maybe they'll completely blow your mind. But basically you'll change their life. I mean, because I've had this town show up for me over and over and sell out show after show, which only then told me, well, maybe I could do more and maybe I could go forward. And yeah, again, this producer that's, not competing with me, but only wants what's best for me and only is going to tell me how to get stronger. And the strength you see is sort of new. I've struggled so much for so long. I'd get on stage and just have a lot of stage fright. I just like putting that out there too because it isn't always easy for me. But recently, I have really developed what I would call even a character. I get on the stage and I dress in a certain way on stage. I have a style that works for me that makes me feel like not just my regular old self, makes me feel like a little bit more than that. And I've really clung to that like fashion side of it because I am someone else on that stage. And recently, when I got to do this amazing show inside of Cave, which we can get into, I it felt like I really stepped into my body for the first time, where I was like, I'm here to perform. I'm a performer for this sold out audience, and I want to give them everything they paid for. They had paid a lot of money to come to this show and to support me, and I just wanted to make sure. And once I transitioned into my body, which has taken me 3 years to figure out how to do that, it was like, oh, okay, you can do this. And every time you get on stage, you can step into this body and deliver what I'm now starting to believe is maybe something I was supposed to be sharing with the world, which are these lyrics that mean so much to me.
Yeah, like I'm delighted you brought that up because that is a big part of becoming a musician, is to try and separate yourself and your own personal life
Yes.
from the person who's creating the music. Well, obviously don't separate when you're writing. You can keep that together,
Yes.
but when you get
Yes.
out there and perform, to separate that, because it it it, it gives you so much more it gives you so much more freedom to just let
Yes.
loose.
Freedom.
Because like now, yeah, the freedom, because I was the same starting off. I was just so nervous, but then when I developed the character of Keith Eastwood, I was like, do you know what, Keith Eastwood doesn't care.
Right.
like like
Right.
my like that's my stage name. Like, he doesn't care.
Yes.
Now I
Yeah.
care what people think all the time.
Yeah.
That's probably my biggest bloody problem, is caring what
Yeah.
other people think. But
I think
Keith
it's really
Eastwood doesn't.
human. I think it's really human, and I think
Yeah,
we don't talk about it, but like when we see these people that are out there on the road really doing it, they've had a lot of experience generally. And that's
yeah,
what it is, right? They've figured out like, oh, I should be here. People do need music, and in this world now, and how it feels now, and how it's hard now, in all the ways, financial and political, and all of those ways, music, which and then maybe I dress and maybe my dressing is like art, and maybe
mm,
my music is the one thing you do that month that is like you are not with any of those other moments in life. You are escaped. And so in some ways I am in my escape, persona, and I am also escaped in those moments where I am free and I'm singing and the audience is free and they're just there to enjoy music and sit together no matter what you think about the world or how hard it's been. You get to be away from it for a minute. And yeah, so I'm starting to realize the importance of like the gift that you're giving as an artist. You're giving your authentic self. And if you learn to be a performer, you're giving them what they're paying for, right? You're giving them the gift of escape. And I'm so thankful to finally be coming into that place where I can just enjoy it and they can enjoy it and we can all grow together.
Got 2 tickets and a place to go. Wheels on the ground and I'm ready to roll. No time to wonder if I'm on the road. Run around chasing dreams, and the only people who get it, it seems, are the other strung out strivers on the beat. I won't complicate my mind, put roadblocks on that yellow line. Well, I'm old enough to go get what is mine. run into it, that's where I'm at.
Um, I had a big show that I decided to prepare for myself in my hometown, in the mountains, in the holler where I'm from, in a refurbished barn. And where I'm from is the middle of nowhere. And it's kind of asking a lot for people to come out there. You know, there wasn't Wi Fi, there wasn't reception, there were just a lot of issues. I had to figure out everything like chairs, porta johns. I had to carry the ABC license. There was a lot of responsibility and pressure. This was when I was going to put out the second album, November. And you know, it sold out and it was the most beautiful, amazing venue. It was filled with my friends and my family and my local fans. And I realized when I'm in front of them, those who know me and have done nothing but want to see me thrive after the hard life that I've been through, you know, all they wanted was to see me shine. I could have been terrible and they would have said this is the best show ever. You could actually feel the love in the room. You could feel it. I could feel it. The audience could feel it. People were weeping in the audience. I was weeping while I sang. We were laughing, you know, we were drinking too much. We were doing the whole thing, you know, in this
Yeah.
barn in the middle of a holler in the mountains of Virginia. And you could just feel that it was like right. And there was something about that show that I was dressed as the performer. I felt like the performer and I was held up by the love of the people. And I just knew, oh, this is the feeling that all these people that say they were born to do this is what they feel. And I had never experienced it to such a big level. But I also knew if this crowd is supporting me in this way, and it was an expensive show because I needed to cover all the costs and, you know, it was scary. It was like I rolled the dice and
Yeah.
it really worked out. And then this show that I had immediately after that was another sort of confidence boosting show, which was a cavern. I mean, way deep in this cavern. And they had one show set up for me. It was going to be 75 people, but they let me choose like the price. And I thought, well, it's only 75 people and they're advertising. I'm going to go a little higher on the higher end, which was a risk. And I did it, and it sold out in 4 hours. So they added
Yes.
another night, and it sold out in 3 hours. And that is the show where I really feel like I had these outfits planned. I'm in the middle of an underground cave. No plugins. I mean, there's no plugins under there, hardly any lighting. And there's just this magic feeling like you're in the earth. I mean, your songs are bouncing off the stalactite, you know, and in this way that you just can't imagine. And you know, these sold out audiences that weren't my normal fan base, they were just scrambling for these tickets that were going really fast. And having people come up to me at that show and saying, "Wow, this is not anything we've ever seen before. There's something so different about this, but also we were meant to be at this show." I just could feel at that point like I think I know what to do now. I think I know how to move forward and be fully my authentic self in music while performing. And although maybe I'll never be like this person or that person, or I don't want to make any comparatives, because what we have in original music makers, who we are in original music makers, we're original music makers. All of us are creating our own sound, our own music, and it's all brilliant. It's all amazing, and we just have to believe in it and keep going forward wherever it takes us. And for most of us musicians, who knows where that is? But it doesn't matter, right? You can't stop doing it. So you're going to keep playing and keep creating, and you're going to hope that you get some magic along the way. And at this point, that's all I'm trying to do.
That's great. That's great. And you're right about the original music makers page. As you said, like just being in a group that's so engaging with a load of
Yes.
other musicians that like you always learn from other musicians that have such talent like that, and it's great. And then just to have that engagement from them is unbelievable. Now this gig in the cave sounds unbelievable. I bet you the acoustics there was just through the roof.
Well,
Well, there was no roof, was there?
you know that I do the song, right? There's no room. You know that I do the song that's do I do some ballads. So my dad was as a bluegrass musician. He would tell stories through song when I was growing up, and that's something that I've held on to, written my own ballads, and I have some that are out there that are really well known. Shame being the one that's most well known. I do it on almost every show now because it really impacts people, and the subject of women and weight and judgment and shame around all of that, and it feels like it really makes people stop and listen. It's really powerful. Well, I did that in the cave both nights, and I would be with my whole band, and so it's a lot of sound in there when you have all the musicians and all the, I was just trying to get my vocals above them so that the songs could be heard in that scenario. But to have that all stop at the end of the show and me just walk out into the audience and sing that ballad very loud and have it just bounce, you could feel, the impact of that song in a way that had never been felt. And everybody that was at that show was just absolutely floored. The sound, the acoustics were just probably something I'll never get to experience again. I mean, while I was doing that 2 night set, I knew. I mean, I was like, this, take it in, because this is, and the folk festivals too, like, take it in, because I was messing up at the folk festivals too. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. Everybody had been doing music their whole lives, and so I'd show up and sometimes I'd be great and sometimes I would be terrible, and like, I didn't know if it would ever come around again. So like, stay in the moment, enjoy the moment. You can dream later, but right now be in the cave, right now be in the barn, right now be at the folk festival, right now be with Keith, and just be present to it with it all.
Yeah, and it's actually funny because I remember you saying that, being present with it all. So this isn't just something that you have decided to do lately, being present with it all. You've been doing
Yes.
this since the start, just being present with
Yeah.
it all, and like creating music along the way. You got into the studio obviously with Doug. You recorded
Yeah.
probably, I think, one of the most incredible debut albums in for me in probably the past 10, 20 years. Uh, just your recording process. You're meeting all these new musicians, these session musicians. Obviously, you were saying that Doug gave you all that confidence and all. Obviously, when you first record, everybody's nervous and all, and they don't know what to do. They kind of just
Yeah.
go with the flow. You were more of a live musician. You like playing live, and then next of
Yes.
all of a sudden, you just have a microphone in front of you, and you're like, ah, what do I do? Where's my
Yes.
banjo? What's the story? So
Yes.
it- this album is incredible. I just want to go into this album because there's so many of the, like, my favorite songs from you is all put on this album, but one in particular is the song like Earth to Nora. I've absolutely in love with that song.
I'm so glad.
So
I feel like it's not a very well known song in many ways. And I have to be I need to be very careful about how I talk about this song, because I wrote this about someone in our community, a 10-year-old girl who passed away. And she was a very private person, and her family, they're involved in music, and just the way that we've decided to like move forward with the song. So I named it Earth to Nora. The girl's name was Nora. And then we just don't really talk about, the ins and outs of what occurred. But it was just a loss in our community. And it was, my child was the same age at the time that Nora passed. And we have a very small community here, especially the music community. And so it was just something that was felt like any parent. I felt this sense of like, why would this happen? There was a period of time where she was maybe going to make it, and then it didn't happen. And so I wrote that song in about 10 minutes. It was
wow,
just, I found
wow,
out she had passed away, and I wrote that song immediately. And it was not a thought, it was just, I wrote it. All of those words came out in an instant, in a flash. And yeah, I think if you really get down into those lyrics, I mean, it's lyrically really full, and you're just asking the question of of why something like this could happen, and you're searching for hope, and you're trying to talk to Nora. And I think it's become over the years just a song if you've experienced any kind of loss, and you're asking yourself those questions, and you're in the middle of the pain, but you also want to see that person in the light on the leaves, or in the moon, or in the stars, or whatever it is. That's what that song is. It really is how can I connect to you now that you're gone? And so I'm glad that that
Yeah.
resonated with you, because I think it is a really important song. And I didn't push it out into the world because it's also really sensitive. The family obviously has heard the song and really loves the song, and with their permission, I use Nora's name because we just want to say her name whenever we can. But so that's where that comes from. It's called Ain't Over Yet.
Barely a man, made a mistake, born in a town that I couldn't escape. Rockingham County, chicken house farm, methamphetamine in everyone's arm. We were lost. Oh, we were gone. Ran out of money, ran out of charm. Bought a gun at the fairgrounds barn. Walked to the pawn shop, tripped the alarm. Cashier scream while the bullets swarm. I was lost. Whoa, I was gone. I lost my mind, I lost my mind. Drifted over on the center line. Took a turn on the road, regret. It wasn't me, and I ain't over yet. I'll do my time, I'll do my time. Mars and boredom might make me blind. I'll hold on, I don't wanna forget. It wasn't me, and I ain't over yet.
Do a lot of the songs now, like a lot of powerful songs, come to you just off the cuff like that, and you just get them out as quick as possible?
Yes and no. I mean, it's changed over the years. Like, yes, it used to be that I would just, when I first started the creative process, and I believe the creative process is the creative process. Like, I think it's big and magical and connected to other things. I believe all kinds of weird stuff about it because I have no other explanation from where it came, except that I was at some point open and things came in. And so some of the songs I have to work on and I have to create, and some of the songs are like magic. And the magic is that they come down, and I wake up at 3 in the morning and I have a melody and all the lyrics and a chorus, and I write it, and it's just, and then we create it, and it's just an amazing thing. Those songs have tended to be the coolest and best songs. But that is changing because I don't know how much you want me to go into about the album that I'm currently making,
Are we going on to that? We will definitely.
since we're talking about the debut album. So with the debut album,
Yeah.
a lot of those songs I was just in a flow of, like, I had songs that I've been writing for a long time for no reason, and I just brought them all to the studio, and he helped me pick the ones that maybe we should record. And if you listen to Blow Away, which, I have the if you listen to
Ah,
that,
that's it.
this is the vinyl copy, but
Ah, class.
if you listen to that one, actually, if you listen to all three, eventually you'll listen to the third. It's you can see how I'm growing. Like, this one is so perfectly simple. It's exactly where I am. It's exactly how I was singing. It's exactly how I was writing. It's all I knew how to play on the banjo. Like, those kinds of, like, and there is something so beautifully simple and so clear, right? And so authentic about that album and everything that I was feeling in that album. And then I create a second album. And I would say it's an extension. It's just that I was growing, but I was still talking about Appalachia, and I was still talking about things that had happened on the inside. Like, I'm thinking about I have in the root cellar too. And So yeah, like so I do Ain't Over Yet, which is a song about a friend of mine, Cellar Full of Beats. I mean, if you listen to all those, Anxiety, Turk Mountain, that's an Appalachia song. If you listen to that one, it's much more complicated. I mean, and I had these amazing musicians around in all the sets I have, but we've just gotten to know each other more now, right? And we've just like, they're starting to understand my music a little bit more, and like, and I trust them a little bit more, and like, so you can hear that we're creating like the next level in the root cellar, and in the Roots Cellar came right on time because I was going on that 2023 tour. So I had all these great songs that I wanted to be able to share. And Ain't Over Yet's my favorite one on that album. I just think it
Love it.
was one of those
Love
things
it.
that I wrote. I wrote it and I was like, oh, it has like a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's just this perfect song. Um, and that's those songs. I was writing them, mostly they would come, sometimes I'd have to actually write them, and think about it. But this third album is completely different. We haven't even decided on a title, so I can't tell you that, but what I would say is it's been different because I'm signing with a record label for this album, which is really scary for
Oh.
me. It's a record label called Outer Marker, and they're a small label who really believe in their artists, and they're really all about doing music the right way. They do not stream through Spotify, which has been my biggest, like, they because they want to be able to have people buy the album, they want to be able to support the artist, they want to be able to support their own company. They are recording everything through audiophile, Atmos, and DSD, which is this really high level quality recording, and sort of selling to their audience who likes to listen to things in a really, high end way. And then I'll be able, of course, to sell all of this to my friends and fans as well. But you have to buy it, which is a little bit of a new thing. I think you can stream it on Apple Music. But
Yeah.
what's been interesting about creating this one is I have been under some pressure because there's been timelines. And so with these other two albums, I
Oh.
had songs and was making songs all along the way. And then with this one, it was like, we're going to make an album for Outer Marker. And I didn't have songs. And then we're going to do it and we're going to have, here's the timeline. And so I really had to sit down and write songs, and I had some deadlines, and, it messed with my mind. Like, I was like, really struggling and trying to write songs, and they were like the worst songs I had ever written, and they were like just terrible, and I just was in the middle of this process, and then I got really close to the edge of the timeline where I needed to bring a couple of songs up and show them, and right on time, some songs opened up for me, and I wrote some songs. And you like Earth Sonora, wait till you hear Time to Be Brave. You're not going to believe it. Lyrically,
Oh,
it's
look forward to it.
so good. And all of these songs, I recorded two songs right away. And they're just like for us in the studio. I'm working with the same musicians that I always work with, and we've added some, and we're all just like, whew, like you can feel the growth, the change, and just these songs are so much more dynamic. And then I wrote those two, and then same thing, I had this next timeline, and same thing where I was just under all this pressure, and I just thought, I don't know if I can do it. And then I ended up writing this song that I just recorded 2 weeks ago, and I swear to you, it's the greatest song I've ever written. It is like a full story from beginning to end. There's a whole vibe. I knew exactly what I wanted it to sound like. The musicians got it immediately. It is like tough, and it is the most confident that you'll hear me sing as well. I mean, it's just like, it just has a
Nice.
punch. And so I'm just like, this album is going to be something really special.
I look
And
forward to it. I really look forward.
Paper shoes, trim the laces, case I got the blues. Orange jumpsuit and a cold hard truth. I was scared, I was troubled too. I was lost. I was in the news. I straightened it out, tried to survive from
because I've ever bumped, like I just bump into randomers on the street, be like, "Did you want to hear this song? It's class." You know, just
Yes.
anybody that wants to listen, I play it for. It is bottom of the barrel.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that song
Wow.
has affected a lot of people. Um, I wrote that song. I think I can say what I wrote that about now, but I've had so many people reach out to me about that song. And that was
Mm,
on the, yeah, that was on the debut album. So there were just songs in me, and Bottom of the Barrel, I had a dear friend that I had that my whole group of friends hung out with. And so he had just been in my life for a really long time. And he was really struggling with alcoholism, and there were ups and downs with that, as there always are. And at some point, and we partied with him when we were young, and then we were getting older and moving on, and he was staying where he was. And so we really started to realize that he was really struggling and was kind of going down a path that he might not be able to recover from. And we, even as a friend group, went and confronted him and said we weren't going to drink it. I mean, we did all the stuff you do. And when I wrote Bottom of the Barrel, my friend had passed away. He didn't pass away of alcoholism, but it was just a series of accidents that occurred around alcoholism. And
yeah.
when he passed, I think some of my friend group agrees with this. We really wondered, had we done it the right way? Like, if we could go back in time, could we just accept him for exactly where he was and just hung with him, because we lost time trying to make him better. We lost time. And so I don't know if it's a fair question, but it's basically just saying, like, I have all these memories with him, with alcohol, without alcohol, and they're all beautiful. And then I have this great loss where it felt like in the end we had pushed him into a place where he was totally isolated. And I think personally, if I could go back, I would just say less. I would just say less. Like, we all have our own struggles, and that song is a prayer that I'll just see him again and we'll just laugh and it'll all be good. And that song is a prayer to my friend.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song, and like, I just share this one thing with you. I'm a recovered alcoholic. I spent years and years and years abusing alcohol. I wouldn't even be able to tell you how much I drank, but
Yeah.
yeah, nobody pushes anybody away. The alcohol takes you away, and
Yeah.
for me especially, like, this is only my experience. Like, your friend, everybody's different, so I'm not saying that your friend was the same.
Yeah.
On my experience was, I didn't want help. uh
Right.
I found the help, like, it wasn't that people pushed me away. I was always going away. I was always drinking and getting away from that, moving into my own little
Yes.
space. But there was
Yeah.
nobody in this world that was going to take me out of that. And the only thing that got me out of that was collapsing one day and ended up in A&E and told, if you another week I would have been in there in a body bag. It's
Yeah.
an addiction. It's a horrible addiction.
Yes.
And I'm like, I think that's probably why that song touches me so much. But as for you, like, with your friend, like, very sorry to hear that. But addiction is such a horrible illness to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, like, we're gonna like I just want people to know, right? All Corey songs are in doom and gloom.
Right.
She has
Some of
to,
them are,
right?
but some of them
Just
are. Some of them are. I mean,
because,
uh,
in fairness, you do. You're right from the heart. You're right from the heart, and like,
yeah.
sometimes, like,
I have to,
what,
I've sort of been making this joke myself, because I think the next album, so I was always looking in. I mean, writing for me was also healing. I mean, I had had my own hard stuff like we all do. And so I was always looking in and tried to, like, get, like, I like to peel the layer of every onion, like, so if I know Keith, well, I'm going to get to the very bottom, and I'm going to go all the way into the bottom, and I'm going to write about the bottom. And I actually feel great when it's over, right? Because I'm like, there, it's all out there on the, and now I can just laugh and be light and be happy. I'm actually an extremely positive person. But if you listen to my albums, you probably would wonder. But that is just how I clear the things that are hard for me. Now, this next album is really interesting because part of this I have to write, and I want to write well so that I can, it's now's the time, right? I've got this
Yeah, and especially
backing
like
of this
this is the first.
label.
Yeah, but this is the first album with a label. Like you have to like
You have to, you have
this
to,
is
you have to
you,
just go
people
for
get one
it.
chance.
You get one shot. You get one shot, and even that doesn't always work out. So my feeling was, now's the time to become a songwriter. So I had people tell me this along the way. When you're writing songs that where you're always self-reflecting, that's great. And people have obviously been able to relate to those songs, and that's made me popular in many ways. A lot of people will be crying if they listen to my albums. But this next album isn't like that because for the first time, and I think because of the pressure, I'm now looking out. And so the last song that I just told you about, which is called Gold Rush, it's a made up story. But man, is it a great story. And Time to Be Brave is a made up story. And I won't say the name of the next one because we can get into trouble for that. But it's a story that comes from a place of real stuff, but the way that I made it is more about the music than the so yeah, so it'll be different, right? And they're much faster, and they're much yeah, they're much more dynamic. So this album won't be as, you know,
I was
hard
pouring the
hard as
water
my
on my
first.
eyes there.
We can laugh and play on the
I'm
next album.
covering the tears. I'm covering the tears. That's it. But now really looking forward to the next album because, as I said, yeah, two albums at the moment are up there, top class albums, and it's Doug producing. Doug is producing the next album.
Doug is still
Um,
producing the next album, right?
yeah, all the musicians that played on the first two albums will be on this.
Yes,
How
they'll
important is
so
it?
the
Sorry. How
musicians.
important is it? This a bit of a delay here, though, so I'll just keep going. Right.
Sorry.
How important is it to keep the same musicians together for recording albums?
So I don't know, I don't know if there's a straight answer, but I do know that what it's done for me is allowed me to trust, like, because these are guys who do music for a living. These are guys who are teaching music. These are guys. And so, I mean, to get around that self-doubt of like me just being a self-taught musician, to get around that, like that's taken a lot of trust and belief. And these guys keep showing up to do my next album, and so I think, oh, they're just not going to show up. Well, there they are, and they don't have to do that. They make a choice to do that. So we have relationships now, and I feel like now I can't even say, I mean, these are my songs, but these musicians now come in and we say, well, what do you think about this? And the guitarist says, what about this? And I say, oh, that's amazing. And the drummer, who's these are world class musicians, and so they're doing stuff, and I'm saying yes or no, but these are their ideas too, and their vision of the song. I bring it to them in this form, and then we do whatever we want to make it. And they get it so well, and they support me so well. It has Being with them over and over has allowed me to be really comfortable, and so much so that this last song, which was a real challenge for me to play because I had to be on time. This next song, I wanted it to be like the banjo was me walking in on a horse. And so I had to be, so I was, practicing to a click track. I was using a metronome. I don't normally do that, but I wanted to walk into the studio with these guys and be able to slay it. And it was the first time that, yes, I felt like, yes, I had done that with their support. I was able to become such a better musician. I'm playing with the best musicians in the world. They also brought in a new guy who's playing with us, and we have like the main crew, which is Adam Monaco on guitar, Peter Oswald on cello, John O'Reilly Jr. on drums. I always have this backup singer that's Kate Monaco, and now a girl named Julie Finnegan comes in. So I've got these backup vocals that are amazing. They're better singers than I am. They're amazing. And then we've got this guy coming in right now named Tom Spiker, who on the last song brought in a Nashville style guitar, a baritone guitar, a Stratocaster, and the bass, and he laid down this sound that you can't imagine. So he's bringing this album up, and he's new on this current album that we're doing now. I also have two violin players that switch off, a guy named Joseph and then a guy named Michael Salzberg. And these guys are just insane. Joseph flew down when I did the cave show. I have a fiddle player that I play with live, but he flew down and he actually got on stage and played with us on the Saturday night cave show. He doesn't even know all my songs because he's current on the new album, and he just shredded the whole thing. So I think what I'm realizing is they know so much. They're so smart. They're so out of my league, but there's no ego. Nobody's coming to the table like we're playing with this girl who doesn't know what she's doing, because where I can get some confidence is to realize I'm showing up with the material. And that matters too, right? I have the songs, and that matters. I have the structure, the melody, and I've got this tune. And so I'm a part of this. And we can't create anything if we don't have that. So that's my part, and then just to hang on with these guys and allow them to make this stuff sound so incredible. So I'm so lucky. I don't take it for granted in any way. Whenever I see these guys, I hug them, I say thank you, and I love you, because, they're helping my music sound really professiontional. So I'm really, really grateful. And I have a
Well,
live band that's
another
amazing
thing,
too. I should say that too.
oh yeah. But another thing is, like, these guys wouldn't show up if they didn't believe in the project and they didn't believe in the
Right.
musician who was writing this. So,
Right.
like, I think in a way you're kind of beating yourself up a bit too much there, because you are right in what you say. You come with the material, but
Yeah.
listen, these guys show up because they see a brilliant songwriter, a
Yeah.
brilliant musician, an excellent singer. I don't care what anybody, like you said about your voice and all that. You
Yeah.
have one of the most incredible voices that I've ever
Thank
heard in
you.
my life.
Thank you.
And there's one
You
thing
know what
that's
they
for sure.
say. You know
When
what
you
they
hear,
say. I'm really big in Europe.
you're huge in Europe, I'm telling you now. That's it. I play you every week on my the radio show that I do on
Thank you.
over the West Online Radio. I'm telling you, you're
Thank
gonna
you.
have a big following in Ireland by the end of that.
Thank you. Thank
This is going to be coming soon. You can read the screen there if you want.
Yes.
European
Yes.
plans, they'll be on the thing. And remember what you said. Don't start going back. I'm the opening act. So Pete Kavanagh, you can get
Yes.
away. I'm the opening act.
No problem. European plans. So this is really funny that you bring this up, because I have spent the last many weeks. I have currently hired someone for the first time who will start to help me book out some shows for 2025. I took a little bit of a breather for 2024. I mean, obviously, I'm telling you, I'm doing all these amazing shows, but I need to. I'm trying to balance my family and my regular life with this other life, because I just don't want to be consumed. I want to enjoy music and enjoy the process, and I want to do it my way, because all along the way I've been told you have to go on tour, you have to go on tour, you have to, and I can go on these mini tours, but I want to make sure that I'm, keeping my family at the top of everything. So for me, that's the most important thing. So for 2025, I've basically sat down and I've just been writing, where I'd like to go. I've got a whole big calendar where I'm like July, June, August, and I've got sticky notes everywhere, when to apply and what to do. But I have been looking for a 2025 European tour, and just seeing what that looks like. And I have lots of friends who've gone over and kind of skipped around and done it. So that is on the agenda for 2025. And I've got a bunch of meetings set up where we're going to figure out what that looks like. And certainly, I would not come all that way without coming to Ireland and seeing you and doing a show with you. And it would be my great honor. So I hope to make it there, maybe 2025.
Oh, brilliant. Yes, yes, yes.
I know. It's exciting.
And Pete Kavanagh is the man that taught this well when you're traveling. So he will tell you the
Okay.
places to go, because Pete would be fairly, like, well known in especially in the folk kind of
Yes.
thing, and that
Yes.
folk sound. Because like another thing, like if people are listening in and they're only getting into the music, making sure that you define your audience and knowing who your audience are,
Yeah.
because like I'm brutal at it, because my music does be all over the place. I do be Irish folk music, then rock, classic
Yes.
rock, and all mental. But
Yes.
if you are, pick your genre. No, don't necessarily stick to the genre. Do something different if you want, but
Yes.
make sure you have your audience and you go for the folk audience, and
Yeah.
that's your goal.
I go for the folk
So,
audience. I like to say folk and then I like to say Americana. It gives me some space to like, be more than one thing. But yeah, I think defining your audience and defining your genre, defining your sound, defining your look. Like, if you really want to be serious, this is probably the best advice that I've ever gotten. If you really want to be serious, then be serious. Yeah, it takes a tremendous amount of work. I don't just show up in my regular clothes. I used to, but I try to make it a show. And so if one person comes to see me at a bar, I'm still dressed to the nines and I'm still giving it my absolute all. And maybe that one person will become a fan. And one thing is that one person won't just leave. They won't just get a drink and leave. Most people come to my show. One person comes, two, three, four, and it's keeping them there, right? It's
yeah.
keeping their attention. And so I do everything that I have power over in that way. And yeah, so if you're trying to reach these goals, just take it all seriously, take it all seriously and have fun, but be serious, show up on time, all that stuff.
Mm. You sound like I'm at a job interview.
It's true.
Show up
It's
on
true.
time. Make sure you're on time.
Yeah, do all the right
It is. It
things.
is, because at
If
the
you
end of
want
the
to
day,
get
like,
invited back,
yeah,
it's
if you
all
want,
about connections. It's all about networking. And like I used to just not totally understand that, but if I show up and do a great job, they're going to invite me back, And so, yeah, stay on it. Stay on it. Treat
yeah,
it like you're being
because if you
serious.
want, like, if you want to make a career out of it, you have to see it as a job. You can't just
You
walk
do.
into it and think that everything's fun and games. You can have
Yeah.
fun. Don't get me wrong.
You should have fun.
It's a job. It's a job that you can have a lot of fun doing.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's the niggly bits. There's a lot of work that has to go into it. Like the work has to go into the recording. The work has to
Yep.
go into the promotion. And then once
Yep.
you go out, like the work has to go into the practice, the jamming sessions before the gig. And then when you go out on that
Yes.
stage to do the gig, that's when the fun begins. Like, that's
Totally.
the
And you
incredible
got to be
part.
ready. If you're ready, you're going to have fun. You're going to be able
Uh,
to enjoy it.
We drink straight bourbon whiskey till we fall down dead. Old turkey buzzards are circling our heads. We'd hold all our secrets, tell lies instead, and get stoned. You were my hope. Now I'm alone. Once climbed to the rooftops, looked at bright city lights, drove back to your house and took shots all night. But I left it behind like an old stale fight, and you're gone. You were my hope. Now I'm alone. Some people have demons that are not yours to slay. Ropes lassoed them sideways, and there they still lay. But I love you to the bottom of the barrel where you pray, and find you again someday, someday. So many times I can see your smile, like an old drive-through movie I watched for a while. But you faded away and took back all the miles on the road. nothing is no. I'm all alone. If I could go back in time, I'd leave you alone. I'd let you drink liquor. I'd let you get stoned. Interventions are lonely and they make people run, and you're gone, but you'll live on. You'll live on. Some people have demons that are not yours to slay. Ropes lassoed them sideways, and there they still lay. But I love you to the bottom of the barrel where you pray. Yes, some people have demons that are not yours to slay. Ropes lassoed them sideways, and there they still lay. But I'll love you to the bottom of the barrel where you pray, and I'll find you again someday, someday.
Ask you one last question before we hit the road. Well,
Okay.
there's two, but one that I want to know. At the moment, who are you crushing on? Who's your creative crush musically now at the moment?
I've got the most major creative crush ever in the world, and that is Sierra Farrell. Sierra
Sierra
Farrell. She
Farrell.
is she is a powerhouse, kind of bringing classic country slash Americana back. She has a style that's like unbelievable and weird and quirky, and you can't look away. I've seen her live, and I'll watch a bunch of her stuff on, all over social media. She has a point of view and she has a strength in her voice that's super amazing. And if I could be like anyone, it would be her for sure. Her writing is superb, and definitely check her out.
I definitely will. You know me for going looking for new music.
You're gonna
I,
you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Brilliant. I have a show. I have to record my show for tomorrow night. She might just include that just for the crack.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great. It's great to get to talk to you again because I know you're very busy. Like your schedule this week is probably through the roof.
Yeah, my schedule's been, really intense for it feels like for 2 years, but I'm so grateful. It's totally fine. If I ever start feeling a little like crazy or what am I doing? And that comes up for me sometimes. I just remind myself that it's supposed to be fun and I'm in control of it and I can take a break if I want to, but just to try to show up and be present, and it's music, and how lucky are we that we get to do it at all. And so I stay in that presence. That's all I can do.
Yeah, brilliant. And that's what it's all about. Have fun, enjoy it, especially the writing process. I love my biggest joy is writing a
Yeah.
song. Like
Yeah, me
even
too.
like
Me
I
too.
do have fun at the gig. Yeah, I do have fun at the
Yeah.
gigs, but my biggest joy is writing the song. I love doing
Yeah.
that. When can we expect the new single from the album?
So, from what I am being told, I think that the new album will be coming out in September. I'll be going back up to Philly at the end of June to record the last song. I will also be recording a song that won't go on the album that I'll be able to send out to all of you, and that I'll be streaming so that you guys can get a little taste of where my writing is going right now, and just so you guys can have something, because I haven't put anything out in a while. And then in September, it sounds like that will come out with Outer Marker Records. And, I will be advertising that heavily, and they'll be helping me do that. And I'll be telling you guys all the places where you can get it. But you can find it on Apple Music. You'll be able to go to Native DSD, or to any audiophile place. And we'll be pushing it out on their website for Outer Marker Records as well. So
And
I
then
can't
obviously
wait
you
to
can go
share
to
it. I cannot wait to share it with you guys. I am not even pumping this thing up. It is like it's beyond anything that I've ever done. So I can't wait to share it, and I'm so proud of it.
Corey, even if it was half of what you put out there, it's going to be a class album. So the fact that it's going to be better than what's already out there just gets me excited about it already. I'm
It's
dying
gonna
to
be
hear the
crazy.
single. So I'm going to be sitting there like I done a write up on Corey there a few weeks back, and it was when I first heard it and I listened to our songs, and it was like an old man sitting in a hospital waiting around, waiting for your next song to come out. I'm going to be like that now with this album, and we have to wait till
It's gonna
September.
You're gonna love it so much. I just know you will, because I know that you get what I'm about, and you get what I'm writing about. And my producer loved your review, and he loved reading the article that you wrote. You're such a talented writer, and you're so good at this podcast stuff. So, keep doing you too. You're a talented musician. I can't wait to get to Ireland and play with you.
Ah, it's gonna be great. It is, and Doug only liked it because I mentioned him.
You might be right. It's like, that's the best article ever.
Yeah. My name was in it.
You're right. Producers get ignored pretty often.
So, do you have any gigs coming up now in the next month, 2 months,
Yes.
whatever? What's the summer like for you now, gig wise?
Yeah, so I've tried to be a little low level in 2024, but I'll be playing July 20th in Charlottesville, Virginia. I will be playing I'll be doing a hometown show August the 14th, a ticketed show in Elkton, Virginia, and then I have a bunch of random stuff coming up in DC. I think that that's going to be like end of August. I've got a bunch of shows in August, and they're all kind of like Washington, DC, Charlottesville, Richmond kind of stuff. And then I'm thinking at the end of September, I haven't fully made this a plan, that I'll be headed down to Georgia to meet some of the musicians that I've known there. I have a couple of gigs lined up there. I can't announce them quite yet, but I will be doing that pretty soon. So I think in September I'll be down in Georgia. So yeah, so a few fun things.
I tell you all the secrecy, Corey, you're killing us.
I'm only allowed. It's only what I'm allowed to say, because I have to sign contracts and all that stuff. So
I
once I
know, I
sign the
know.
contracts, I'll tell you all about it.
I know all. Jim Hill will tell you about me signing contracts. I'm not one to talk to about signing a contract.
Right. Right. Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
won't talk
Yeah.
about that.
That can go. That
Corey,
can go very badly.
yeah, it was an absolute pleasure having you on. It's great to know that you're getting signed, and that, do you know what? Me and Laura talked about something there a couple of weeks back, saying, "Oh, jeez, the amount of musicians that were on the group, wouldn't it be great if someone made it big?" And do you know what? You mightn't have 1 million listeners, but to us, you're the biggest in the world. And that's your music is the biggest for us, and
I
that's all
have
that matters.
been I've been so lucky that I found this group of people and this group of humans. And when things have been scary or I've been uncertain, I've always turned to the group, and I've always been encouraged with the writing and the camaraderie. And someone like TJ will reach out and say, "How are you doing?" Or I'll see Pete doing some great show, or you'll invite me on for an interview, or Laura will pump me up. And you know thank goodness for this amazing group of writers. If anyone out there is looking for, a place to belong and a place to become a better musician and a better writer, Original Music Makers is where it's at. It's a great family. So we're very lucky.
It is, and we're very lucky for Laura as well.
Yes, we
Uh,
are.
Not so much TJ. No, I'm only messing.
No, that's
Well,
true.
I love TJ. TJ's my brother from another mother.
Yes, he's wonderful. He's
But
wonderful.
no, it's a great community, and like the support, and
Yeah,
as like yourself, like once you become like I'm not gonna say it's a click. I hate that word click. It's not a
yeah,
click,
yeah.
because a click is a closed kind of thing. This is an
Right.
open.
Yeah, it's totally
This is
open.
open for anybody. But once you
How much
kind of
you
come into
participate?
this kind of
Yeah,
community,
yeah,
the love, the respect, and the, the support that you get from
yeah,
everybody in it, it's just overwhelming. Like, you look at yourself, you look at Kevin, you look at
yeah,
P. Anytime anybody releases an album, the community come together.
yeah,
We
yeah.
release a song, the community comes together. We push, we drive, we just want to see the best for those musicians,
Yes.
which is very
Yeah.
rare, because I don't mean to be bad. it is a selfish kind of thing to be in, like being a musician. You
Yeah.
have to be selfish as
Yeah,
well. You know, you
you
have to.
do you do sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this group, it like puts that all aside. And I think too, it's the kind of thing where if one of us rises up and if one of us is able to have success, we can pull each other along and we can pull each other down that train, you know. And I haven't been a part of a music community that's done that. So we're lucky, and if one succeeds, maybe we all succeed. So
Yeah.
we should
No,
try.
no, no. It's not even that. We just want free tickets to a show.
You got
that's,
it.
that's the only reason we do this. It's just if they make it big, we get free tickets to a show. You know.
You got it. You got it.
Corey, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on,
It's
and
always
I
so
wish
good
you
to
all
talk
the
to
best.
you.
Yeah, I wish you all the best. Can't wait for this new album. If anybody wants to find Corrie Lynn, you have your own website and all, don't you?
Yeah, CorrieLynnGreenMusic.com. And you can find me on YouTube if you're looking for something for free. You can find my songs on Spotify. You can find my stuff on Bandcamp if you want to have a vinyl or CDs. And look out for the new album. It's going to be amazing.
Well, I would suggest you find Corrie on YouTube and check out our music videos because I do love your music videos. But also, if you go onto Bandcamp or onto Corrie Lynn Green's website, pick up our album because it's the type of album you just want sitting in your music collection at home. And especially on vinyl, like that's something to have.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
have a vinyl. I don't have one of those vinyl players at home. It's something that
Yeah.
I've been dying to get. You had one donkeys years ago, but
Yes. It's
I
coming
don't have
back.
it now. It's coming back. It is. But I tell you what, I know I shouldn't be saying this in this climate, but I do. I just love a CD.
Good. You know what? Good, because they're the easiest, cheapest things you can make, and I think people can have more access to them. When you make a vinyl, it costs a lot of money, and you have to sell it for a lot of money.
Yeah.
So nothing beats a CD. I don't want
It's
to go
not
back
that.
to cassettes.
It's just that you can't fit a vinyl player in your car.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Which
That's exactly
I
right.
listen to a lot of music in the car, so
And if you
that's why I
if
love a
you guys
CD.
still have a CD player, you're supporting the artist better if you buy a CD. When you stream, we just don't get we get pennies from that. So that's what makes streaming
Spotify is the
really
worst way.
important.
Actually, do you know what?
Yeah.
I'll do a whole show on Spotify. I'm not going to go into it now,
Yeah.
otherwise me
Yeah.
head will explode.
Yeah.
But we're
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
leave it at that. As I said,
Yeah.
go find Cordy on all our platforms. And Cordy, look forward to the new album. And
Yay,
best of
thank you
luck with the
guys.
gigs over the summer.
Thank you
Bye, bye,
guys.
bye.
So good to talk to you. Bye.
Come on, Gordon Margaret.
We are born in these bodies to move around and feel our joy. I'm not a pawn piece on a chessboard. I'm not a puppet. I'm not a toy. These girls in baggy clothes hide from judgment and leering eyes, disappear and go hungry, whittled down to the right size. So don't you tell me to shed this weight. I've been carrying my mother's pain, and every woman I know, they've gone insane, loaded down with shame. Dear me, I am lovely, I am wonderful, what a sight, so strong, so hopeful, we can believe in ourselves if we try. Dear woman, don't you waste away, don't replay the words, 'cause they're a lie. You are everything, you are everything. yes, you are every time. So don't you tell me to shed this way. I've been carrying my mother's pain, and every woman I know, we've gone insane, loaded down with shame. Yes, every woman I know, they've gone insane.